streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. I was speaking on a question answer session, continuing that mere existence is not enough. Why are you existing? There is an Eastern approach to it and the Western approach. Eastern approach is a blend of, is the confluence of trust, respect, and science. Western approach is purely scientific. When an individual enters into inner life, let us put it as here, Tantra, he is going in an uncharted, unknown realm. Trust is needed. It is like traveling in the outer space. You are moving one realm to another. There is the gravitational force of the realm that you are living, and the gravitational force of the realm where you have to reach. You have to have the trust. And then scientifically you approach. Why the India sent its lunar mission Chandrayaan-3, and not too long after, Russia sent its lunar mission Luna 25. Just 2 days, on 19th, Luna 25 crashed. What was the reason? What is the reason behind your journey of transcendence crashes? You start a life with a person, and after some time it crashes or it becomes stagnant. In the outer space, there are always, when you are traveling in that, there are always unwanted signals. You have to be capable to receive those signals, interpret them, rather than you allow the signal to come and disturb you, and then things will crash. Where the 2 moon missions were to land, are the dark side of the moon, where the light never reaches. This is symbolic for inner journey. You are starting a journey from a realm where light of awakening has never reached, or it reaches only in certain moments. 1 day on moon is equivalent to 14 days on earth. So for 14 days, for fortnight, there is no light of the sun coming to the moon. There are craters. The soil is very dusty, and this is uneven. This is how, when you begin your journey, you are entering into the dark caves of your consciousness. No light of awakening has reached there. All kind of storms are there. The dust is flying. Signals, unwanted signal comes from unknown regions. On the moon, the lunar had one-way signal. Chandrayaan was established for three-way signals. First, it connects to its source. Second, it receives and processes the signal that comes into it. And there are certain signals which are meaningless, which doesn't need to be responded. But if you do not have that analyzing capability, then you will be affected by it. And this is what happened in case of Luna 25. It received the signals. This is not that the signals are always there in the cosmos. When you sit down in meditation, all kind of signals starts coming to you. And you have to process it whether this signal is significant for you for this way or not. If you allow this signal and you do not know how to process it, whether it is to be discarded or not to be discarded, immediately, like Luna 25, your mission beyond, be the light beyond 6, crashes. It is a very systematic study, systematic journey. So, what you have to realize that mere existence is not tolerated. Existence must have a meaning, otherwise what is the use of it? You go on prolonging yourself unnecessarily. Why go on repeating the same pattern every day? One relationship you had, it crashed without entering into the sensors or anything. When the lunar Chandrayaan mission 2 failed, scientists worked what is the reason behind it. The reason behind it was its legs were weaker and not tall enough. Secondly, the three-way sensors were not developed 3 years ago. So it waited for the three-way signals to process. There are particular names in science. We are not concerned with this. But three-way signals. You are connected to the cosmic energy through the master. Your signal has to come from there. If any signal comes from any other source, you have to process it, whether somebody is trying to crash you or not. So we go on repeating the same pattern over and over again. So you have done things many times. And you will do it unless death comes and relieves you of your body. So what is the use? Love gives a meaning. It is not through love any result comes into being or any goal. No. Through love, love adds a new dimension of value, that every moment becomes a moment of value itself. Then you never ask it. If someone asks what is the meaning of life, the moment someone asks what is the meaning of life, know that love is lacking in his life. Whenever someone asks what is the meaning of life, he is not asking because he has not been able to flower in a love experience. Whenever someone is in love, he never asks, or the question never arises, what is the meaning of life? He knows the meaning. There is no need to ask. He knows the meaning. The meaning is there. Love is the meaning in life. Love, through love, Love is the spacecraft through which you enter into the inner space. Remember, there are two things, energy and the field where the energy works. In simple examples, electricity is the energy. It works through the electric stove. Electric stove is the field through which it works. If you take an image of a stove working with the electrical energy, that is a scientific Shivalingam. The field, the energy and the field where energy is to work. Do you worship stove? Do you worship your air conditioner? You keep it efficient to use, and then you can create the dishes. So what happens? You give the kitchen, you give the basic ingredients to a master chef or a Michelin star chef. He will create something that is beyond your imagination, and you are still struggling with your pasta and macaroni pie. So Shiva is the one who is creating, like a Michelin chef star, something which is beyond imagination. And each one of you has to be the Shivalingam, the energy and the field for the energy to operate. Male is the energy because it works in one way. Female provides the field of operation, and through that, and many times you look at the children are born out of the same parents, but their DNA is different. Why it is so? It happens at the moment when the energy is working at the field of operation. What is the thought process going on in the physical mind of the male and female? What is that going on? So you will see the two children born out of the same parents have a different IQ level. However, in case of twins, the story is different, because the twin is created in the same subtle environment within the parents, whereas in individual birth it is different. This is going to be worked. It has never been spoken in that way. It has never worked that way, because certain things, the existence is a continuous journey. Each enlightened master comes and adds his dimension to it in the process of transformation of human consciousness. So whatever is my rule, whatever is your rule, you have to fulfill that in the best possible manner within the cosmic harmony. So where Shiva's Vigyan Bhairav Tantra ends, he has given in details and is continuing to give the details. Only thing is this: are you capable of receiving the signals? Are you able to process those signals when it comes from the cosmic cosmos? Are you? Awakened one is the one who is connected to the cosmic source. He receives the signals from there, processes them, presents it. This is the entire science of life eternal. Receiving the signals, processing it, making these signals available in a form that can be understood by the readers, by the people. So, through love, prayer is possible because prayer is nothing else but love relationship, not between two individuals, but between one individual and existence. In that state, you receive signals. Then the whole existence becomes your beloved or lover when you are prayerful. So during the act of sex, if you are prayerful and you are not using the different positions, instead you are using the different states of meditativeness, then the whole existence becomes your beloved or lover. But it is possible only through love experience. And you can grow into prayer or into meditation, and the ultimate ecstasy is just like love. That is why Jesus says God is love. God is the ultimate ecstasy. Not that God is loving. We interpret as God is loving. God is love, the ultimate ecstasy. Christians have been misinterpreting this word, this statement of Jesus, God is love, by saying God is kind and loving. That is not the meaning. Jesus says God is love. He simply equates God and love. You can say love. You call your beloved or lover as love. Or you can say God. Both mean the same thing. God is not loving. Instead, God is love itself. That's why unknowingly, unconsciously, we call our spouse as love. And Tantra is the love method. So the first thing is how to love. And then the second thing is how to grow in love. Love is the seed, and how you allow it to grow, for it to blossom, how you have to allow it, that relationship, into a prayer so that it starts blossoming. Myriad flowers come on it. But one must start from the seed, which is love. And don't be afraid of love, because that fear is the unwanted signal that comes to you. You are afraid of the heart. And head is very cunning and heart is innocent. With head you feel protected. With heart you feel vulnerable and insecure. That is why we have become closed and we did not develop other sensors. When the message is received, you are not, because there is fear. And if you are vulnerable, everything can happen to you. Someone can send you a signal, or you can receive. It's not that signals are always there. Signals are always there, like circumstances and situations happening. But depending on the sensors that are there in you, you can process them differently. It's not that someone is deceiving you. The signals are there, but you are open to those signals. With mind, no one can deceive you. You can deceive others, But I tell you to be ready to be deceived, but do not close your heart. So ultimately, you will start receiving, processing the signals, and then you can transcend. And because of this, man has become incapable of love. Women were not like this in the beginning, but they are following the modern man fast. They are copying modern man. Sooner or later, they will become just like man. So sometimes we say that this particular girl is a tomboy. They are They may even overtake man one day. Now they are also becoming incapable because of the head orientation. It is good that they interact in different fields. You can interact in different fields, but do not allow the heart to be dominant, to remain subservient, ineffective. There is women's liberation movement or things like these, and this is a great crisis. It is difficult now to prevent women all over the world from copying man and his nonsense, because man seems to be successful. He is successful in a way. He has become master of things. Now he possesses the whole world. Now he feels that he has conquered nature. But in that he has lost something of greater value. Now women is also succeeding and becoming fast masters. They are copying man. But look also at the things where man has failed completely. He has lost his heart. He is incapable of loving. Love has become a commodity. Reason alone is enough. And when reason is in control, this is dangerous. The heart must be higher than the reason, because reason is just an instrument and heart is you. When your mind becomes insane, you are still alive. But when heart stops functioning, you are no more. Heart is more important, but the balance is needed. When to use the heart, when to use this, it is like a tools, a plier, a screwdriver, and other things. You know which one to use, when and how. So when to use logic, when to use love. In bed, in the love relationship, reason should not be used. It should be flowing. You should not be thinking. We think about sex, how we are going to do, what are we going to do. No. It is a spontaneous overflow. Allow the energy take possession of you and let the energy operate the way you want, the way it wants to express itself through you. Do not decide your own things. Let the energy take. The head is allowed to dominate. In its domination, the head has killed the heart. And thirdly, one thing more has to be remembered as to why modern man has become incapable of love. Love is basically a sort of madness, a sort of deep participation within nature. a sort of dissolving of the ego. It is primal. You are born out of love. Your every cell of the body is nothing as no reason cells but love cells. Your very energy, your very life energy is nothing else but love energy. You exist in it, but there is no ego in that energy. It happened when the ego has dissolved, then love was born. The energy is unconscious, and when you move in love, like see a spacecraft, the signals were there. It is said in the research and in the analysis of Chandrayaan-3, the Indian mission, because India is basically respecting and adoring moon from the very beginning, considering it to be a moon god. So when it is godly, you are respecting it. When you are respecting it, so you are analyzing it, so you are seeking, may I start investigating and researching, trying to know more about you. The moment you tell your spouse that I respect you, but I want to know more about you, there are ways and means how you come to know more about your spouse. That is a scientific manner. And so it realized that the signals were coming from the aliens, about the unwanted signals. And firstly, you have to respect. And when the signal comes in, you have to process it, whether this signal is for you or not. When you are moving in the market, you are moving in the busy shopping area, there are many aliens sitting in this room, in this shop or that shop, like objects. If you have a lineage towards electronics, to the moment you start passing through the electronic shop, unwanted signals will start coming to you from aliens. A new iPhone, a new Samsung, a new laptop. And if you do not know whether this signal that is there and you are capturing that signal, we are capable of receiving the signals, even unwanted signals, but there is no processing. So if you are receiving the signal, you have to process it first. And when you are able to process the signal, no, this signal is not for me. And if you start not processing the signal and be affected by the signal, what will happen? You are going to the restaurant for dinner, but you are seeing this, receiving these signals, so that mission is failed. And this is what happened with the Luna 25. It crashed. So it is very important that this signal is for you or not. Human mind works in 3 layers. First is unconscious. When you are deeply asleep with no dreams, you are in unconscious state. The child is in mother's womb, is absolutely unconscious. He is just the part of the mother. The child is not aware that I am separate. So in that state, you consider that I am part of the existence. I am not separate from that. He is just part of the mother. There is no separation, no defined existence. He is undifferentiated from the mother and from the existence itself. There is no fear of any kind, because fear comes only when you consider yourself, you become aware of yourself. The child is totally at ease, he is unconscious. The second layer is the layer of consciousness. It is a very small fragment, which is almost 1%, 1/10 of the unconscious. Total 90% is unconscious and 10% is conscious. 1/10 of the unconscious has become conscious in you through training, through education, society, family, conditioning, and belief system. It was needed for survival. So part of you has become conscious, but that part also gets tired very soon. So you need sleep. And in sleep you become once again a child in the womb. You have taken back, you have fallen back. The conscious is no more there. It has become part of the unconscious. If meditation brings you knowingly, consciously, you are entering into the unconscious layer. That is why sleep is refreshing, meditation is refreshing. In the morning you feel when you get up you are refreshed. You may not have observed this. Observe someone who is deeply asleep. More or less he will be in the same posture in which he was in mother's womb. The fetus, the way the legs, the knees are bent, head is down, and knees are covering. Look at the picture of the fetus in a most relaxed manner. You are always in that position of the fetus. Observe someone. More or less, I'm not saying exactly, more or less he will be in the same posture in which he was in mother's womb. And if you can be in that right posture, sleep will follow more easily. If you feel any difficulty in falling asleep, simply feel your mother's womb, because in the womb the space is limited. You have to, the body has to be adjusted in a particular manner in order to optimize the space that is there. Imagine it and take the posture in which you have been in your mother's womb. In that posture, you will fall asleep. You will fall asleep very deeply. You need the same warmth. Otherwise, the sleep will be disturbed. You observe it when you are sleeping. Which posture you like the most to be relaxed? It is the fetus posture. Fetus posture. That is why the hot milk is also good to take before sleep. And if you take the milk with turmeric powder, which is the rich source of antioxidant and vitamin B complex, and the quality of turmeric enhances if you add a pinch of black pepper to it. Mix it with the milk and drink the warm milk in the night before going to sleep. If you sip hot milk before going to sleep, it will be good. And it is the energy drink. I have asked my supplier to prepare this as compared to what different way it is available in the market, but I have asked him to add a few other items to it. So I have to still see the ingredients if he has added those, and ask him to use the almond powder, almond, pumpkin seeds, and sunflower seeds. Because pumpkin seeds oil is antioxidant, almonds is a rich source of energy in a lesser proportion. Because that again makes your child drinking the milk. Milk is child's food. So before going to sleep, you are taking a little bit of milk. And if it is hot, you are again getting the taste, the feel of the mother's breast. Hot milk is good for sleep. Because of this reason, you fall back into your childhood. Firstly, your position while sleeping is that of that fetus, but before going to sleep, you have taken hot milk mixed with turmeric and a pinch of black pepper to enhance the quality of turmeric. This is basic. If you can add other things, then it is even better. So let me look at it when I get the supply, because based on the spiritual understanding with life, I am adding different things to it. How your food should be spiritual food. Your thoughts should be spiritual. Your way of life should be that way also. So what you are adding, someone has asked me to speak on this particular aspect of Saraha's sutras, and it is one-to-one interaction. Each one of you, as a lover and a beloved, it is a practical field of energy and field of energy to be your own Shivlingam. Practice the sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. In whichever position you can be meditative. When you follow that, you reach the state of existential bliss. That God is the ecstasy, the ultimate bliss. Because in the morning when you get up, after this way sleep, your eyes are all once again innocent like that of a child. And in the evening they become ugly because they are tired. So you have lived too much into the conscious. That is why in existence 90% is darkness. The area of the moon, which is not visible from the earth, is 90%, much bigger, where sunlight never reaches. This is unconscious part of the human consciousness. You have to land there. You have to do your research there. So sex is your unconscious part, where you have to land, you have to interact, you have to experiment, you have to go deeper into it, and you have to be aware that you have different kind of sensors. You are connected to your cosmic source, which is the master, and master is connected to the cosmic source. After enlightenment, you are connected to the cosmic source, the Shiva aspect, the existence. And then you are constantly, if any message comes to you, you pass it on to that command center. This is the message I received. What do I do with it? Firstly, you are processing it on its own. Sometimes it happens. People say a question came, but immediately, no sooner the question came, the answer came. So it means you are developing the system to process the signals that are coming to you in the form of questions. And whatever you cannot, then you send it to the command center. And from the command center, the instruction comes to you. Sometimes the processing center in the spacecraft, you are the spacecraft. You are moving within the inner realm, the inner space, and a signal comes in, you process it. Sometimes certain seekers, they say that I feel this should be that way. Can I send you that message? This is what I felt and I wrote. Can I send it to you to look at its authenticity? Those who are working as a part of our editing team, they have these experiences. At times, they receive the signals, they process it themselves, manifest in the form of a script, and send it to me for the approval, the command center. So this is why very wisely certain people have been chosen to be the part of the editing team. And whatever signals they receive, they process the information and their inferences and send it for the more you have lived too much in consciousness, in the light area, this unconscious has ego as its center. That the same authors, the editors, they can say that this is what I have written and it should be accepted. No, they are not in the dark, in the ego region. They send it to the command center, and command center to see the authenticity of it, and then if it is necessary to be included or to be responded, if it is for the benefit of the humanity, it should be included. There are two ordinary states that we know, and the conscious and unconscious. Yet still there is a third state that which Tantra and Yoga is concerned with, that is super consciousness. So slowly and slowly the seekers are being trained to go beyond the conscious and unconscious. When they receive the signal and they process it, they are in the superconscious state, knowingly or unknowingly. So when whatever message is sent to the command center, they are actually, there is most of the times I have not found any reason to change it. Or it may be that this has to be saved for that purpose, because it will fit there much better. Whatever you have said, whatever signal you have received, whatever you have processed is right, authentic, but it needs to be on this platter. Superconsciousness means your whole unconscious has become conscious. This is not that consciousness which is ego-oriented. Your unconscious is being brought into the light. So what it is happening? The lunar mission Chandrayaan 3 is planning to land on the dark area of the moon, which remains deprived of the light for 14 days, where the highest temperature goes to 260 degrees Celsius and the lowest temperature goes minus 250 degrees Celsius. Imagine intense heat which human being cannot bear. 260 and 250 degrees minus. This is the state. That's why we are afraid of unconsciousness, because it requires tremendous willpower, processing power to be in that. So superconscious means you have converted your unconscious into conscious. In the unconscious, there is no ego, you are total. In superconsciousness, again there is no ego, but in unconscious, there is no ego, but you are not aware of it. In conscious, there is ego and you are aware of it. And in superconsciousness, there is no ego and you are aware of it. At times, our editors exhibit that state. When there is no ego, all the unconscious is converted into conscious state. And when they write a passage or something, I have no cause to change it. As a senior editor, I have no cause to change it. This ego is the problem when it is a part of your consciousness. When it is a part of unconsciousness, it is not. If you want to rise in prayer, you have to become totally conscious. All your unconscious has to convert into conscious, like Buddha, like Mira, like Krishnamurti, like Ramakrishna, like Jesus, like Muhammad. So love becomes impossible. Prayer becomes impossible for you as such. The ego creates the barrier. The ego creates the barrier. You cannot lose yourself. You would prefer to lose love. Love is losing, dispersing, dissolving, melting into the other, through the other into the unknown and unknowable. The other for you is unknown and unknowable. You do not know, although you claim that you know, and the other is impossible to know. The more you know about the person, the more you find that you have not known yet. You are in the process of knowing, but you have not known. If you melt into unconsciousness, it is love. If you melt into superconsciousness, that means unconscious has become the conscious, then it is prayer. Melting into the unconscious, the unknown and unknowable, is the experience of love. And melting, when that love melts into superconsciousness, it becomes prayer. Both are melting. Prayer is melting, love is melting. So what is to be done? Remember this, you cannot do anything about it. Let it be deeply noted. You cannot do anything about love. You cannot do anything about prayer. Just when you are with your beloved, do not focus on the sex positions. Focus on the state when the two are melting into one another. Love, you are melting into love. When you have melted into the love, become fluid-like, meditation begins to happen and you are prayerful. Then you are becoming the light beyond six. Then you are becoming light beyond six. And each one of you has to become the light beyond six. Each one of you has to become your own symbol of Shiva Lingam. The energy to operate through the field of operation. And then remember, surrender. Whenever you want to move beyond yourself, surrender is the way. If you have not surrendered to your spouse, to your lover, you have not allowed the other freedom. Both of them have not allowed the freedom into one another. Love means melting. Love means surrender. And when two are merging into one another, it is love. When through each one of you, through lover and beloved, you are merging into God, existence, it is prayer. Whenever you long to move beyond somewhere else where you are not, then surrender, let go is the path. Even when you are doing the cooking, you have to surrender to the process of cooking. You have to surrender the process of cooking. In that process alone, you transcend. And when you cook something that is out of love, that food is prayer. That's why it is said, Annam Brahma. Food is consciousness. These people, the ancient sages, they were not fools to call the food as consciousness, because they do not use the word prasad, offering. It is cooked in that state of super consciousness, when in a state of let go. The moment your food is cooked in a state of let go, it becomes a divine food. The moment your act of sex happens in a state of let go, it is no more sex, it is light beyond sex. You are the light beyond sex. Something like this had not been spoken earlier. And once you know how to allow, many things will start happening to you. You may not be even aware of what is possible for you. You will find, you will simply use the word miracle. I don't know how it happened. Or what is great, tremendous energy you have enclosed within yourself, which can explode and then become an ecstasy. And this is why you say at times, I don't know, since I met you, so many things, life has changed completely. It is ecstasy. Your whole life will be filled with consciousness, light and bliss, but you don't know it. It is just as if every atom is nothing else but atom bomb ready to explode. If one atom explodes, tremendous energy is released. If every act that you perform is an atom, if, let's say, all the acts that you perform explode, what will be the state? You are cooking in the kitchen. You are preparing different dishes. Each is an atom bomb. And when it is cooked and explodes, the entire platter becomes ecstasy. And every heart is also an atom. If it explodes in love or prayer, tremendous energy is released. This is what is happening to someone, some of you. But you have, but when you explode, you have to lose yourself. The seed, when it explodes, it has to leave itself, it has to leave its egocentric nature. Only then tree is born. Tree is the ecstasy out of the explosion of the tree. Flower is the ecstasy born out of the seed when it explodes. The seed, if the seed resists and it says that no, I must survive, then seed can survive, but the explosion will not be there. The tree will not be there, the fruits, the flowers will not be there. Modern man has become incapable of love because he has become incapable of death as well. He is not ready to dissolve. Seed dies. Only then tree is born out of that. And then once the process begins, continuously flowers starts appearing. As a seed you have to die so that the tree of consciousness grows out of you. And when the tree of consciousness grows out of you into superconscious, in that state, tremendous flowers and the fruits appear. And this is what has begun to happen to some of you. And it has to happen to each one of you. In Old English, 300 or 400 years ago, there was a usual expression. Lover would say to the beloved, I want to die in you. Die in you, not for you. This is an Old English adage, nearly 300 to 400 years ago. This was the love expression. It is beautiful. I want to die in you. Imagine this. It is beautiful. I want to die in you. Love is death, death of ego. Death of ego. Only then the real self is born. Modern man is very, very much afraid of losing himself or dying. And in every way, surrender is death. Love is death, and life also is a continuous death. If you are afraid you miss life, be ready to die every moment. Be ready to die in anything that you perform or do, whether it is love making, whether it is cooking, whether it is anything, whatever profession you have chosen, whatever be your life, be ready to die each moment. Means you allow yourself to be an instrument for things to happen. You be the element, be the instrument through which the process of cooking is happening. You are not cooking. You are allowing it to happen through you. This is what is meant by death. Die to the past, die to the future, die in the present moment. Three folds of death. Die to the past, die to the future, die in the present moment. This present moment you are cooking. Die in that moment. This very moment you are entering into love relationship, die. So that meditation, the seed of meditation can blossom in that state. Life will happen to you only when you are ready to die. This looks paradoxical, but this is the law. Jesus says, one who is ready to lose will gain. Jesus was very simple in his parables in his statements, and one who clings will lose everything. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.